In January, Canada AM spoke with mental health advocate Mark Hennig. Mark was 15 when he stood on the ledge of a bridge ready to end his own life, but a stranger passing by stopped to talk to him and grabbed him as he let go of the railing.
It would have been after midnight. There was nobody else around, so I don't even know where he came from. I have no information about it. I remember that he was wearing a light brown jacket.
Yeah,
that's all
that's
that I
about
remember.
all you've got to go on.
Yeah.
But you've said thank you to this, unknown stranger many times.
Although Mark had no information about him, soon after that interview, Mark found out the identity of the man who saved his life. His name? Mike Ritchie. That man is Mike Ritchie from Sydney, Nova Scotia. He first heard Mark was searching for him after a friend saw him on Canada AM. They exchanged emails, and Mike flew into Toronto to meet Mark for the first time.
I am feeling like I might throw up. Nice to meet you.
Though the right words were hard to choose, they talked about that day on the bridge.
I can remember in such vivid detail just about everything. I remember the temperature and the rain on the railing and everything around me and the different people and the lights, but for some reason I never really processed how you were dealing with it.
When we had been talking, it wasn't about deep conversation, so I wasn't trying to get into anything. I just wanted you to know I was there, and without making you feel pressured or just that you weren't alone. And if you wanted to talk, you can talk. If you want to just stand there, I'll stand there right with you.
And our son Noah.
Mark introduced him to his wife Rebecca and his young son Noah.
There's been so long that I've been just thinking about, as we've talked, whatever happened to that boy. And the fact that I get to do this right now is amazing.
And Mark and Mike join us today. And Mark, now you know what happened to that boy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All these years, I've just been thinking about that, and to yesterday, I mean, when I got the chance to, you're thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to get? And giving him a hug was the best feeling, just because, I mean, there was no words. I think you think about, like, if you overthink it, it's not natural. And the funny thing was, when I'd met Mark, he just put his hand out to shake my hand. I'm like, you're getting a hug.
Yeah, it's beyond that now. But the hug, that embrace said it all. Maybe there was no need for a lot of words.
I've been trying to think for the last couple of months since I started really formally looking for Mike, but really for the last 12 years, what would I even say to this person when I saw him? Or I didn't even know if Mike was real for most of this time. I didn't know if he was just something that I had made up in my mind. But so to hear him and to see him and to be able to finally have my arms around him again, it was something else.
It's just an extraordinary story of how the two of you came together. And in reading it, what really struck me, Mark, about you is that you were a new youth care worker at the time. You just started a job, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people assume that, given the nature of the work that I do currently, that played a role in the incident with Mark. But at the time, that wasn't the case at all. It was, I was brand new.
You hadn't been in the job long enough for it to be the case.
Brand new to the field, and at the end of the day, I saw someone that might have needed help, and I did what I could, and that's what it was all about, really. So.
And it was his voice, right?
Yeah.
Just knowing that somebody was there.
Well, that was it.
On that bridge.
There were crowds that had started to gather on either side, and I remembered one guy in particular and his group of friends. I could hear them laughing, and he told me he yelled out for me to jump, that I was a coward. So it was this image had always stuck in my mind of having this guy on the sidelines who didn't know me, who didn't have any apparent interest in my life or what I was going through, who was basically pushing me over that edge. And then I had this other stranger who was right behind me, not really saying a whole lot, not telling me to do anything, not trying to solve all my problems. And he was the one who was keeping me there, and then who literally was the one who pulled me back. So, I've been living my life ever since trying to be that guy, trying to be that stranger who who pulls people back.
Yeah, and you've done so well at that because it takes courage to tell a story such as yours. And in doing so, you in turn have saved, I'm sure, and will save many lives. To just put that out there and be true to who you are and the experiences that you've had takes a lot of courage. And it also takes courage to step outside of your comfort zone and try and help somebody that many, I would say, would just have passed by that night.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even something that was thought about. It wasn't an option. It was just, as I said, as I was driving by, I saw someone standing on the opposite side of a ledge, and I would never be able to drive on and live with myself without thinking that I could have done something and whatever happened to that person, so I did what I could.
Well, you know what, though, when I was on that edge, I was pretty aware of everything that was happening in that moment, and there were lots of people who drove by. There were lots of people who, maybe they didn't see me, maybe they just weren't aware. Or, I mean, why would you think to look for somebody standing there on the wrong side of the railing? But yeah, I heard lots of people who drove by.
What was it like to meet Mark's family yesterday,
That was
his little son?
That was so awesome because it was not only meeting, reconnecting with Mark and seeing the great things that he's done with his life and the people that he's helped and is currently helping, and remembering that night with that boy on that ledge to see how far he's come in his life, and then seeing, kind of that next level where he's doing great and he's got the cutest little family. They're awesome. Yeah, as I've said before, I'm very proud of him for what he's done. So I think it's awesome.
It's come full circle.
It has. And when I think about, I've been thinking about how would I ever thank Mike for what he did for me. I mean, he gave me my life back, and I was just thinking about it last night, and I realized that living my life is the best thanks that I can give him. And when I look at my son and I look at my wife, and I realize that that I can't thank him any more than that.
And that's more than enough for me.
You are both gems. I can't tell you how happy we are to have you here today.
Thank you.
So good to see you.
You too.
Wonderful to meet you.
Thank you very much. You too.
Coming up on